All right. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. Jen, you like that I skipped good morning there?
I'm so proud of you.
You're
So
so
proud.
proud of me. We've been talking about that for years now because we actually broadcast in the morning, barely, but in the morning in the Mountain Time Zone. And obviously, sometimes our guests aren't in our time zone. And obviously, a lot of you may be watching or listening in syndication, and it could be 11 at night, whatever the case may be. But nonetheless, here we are, as usual, 10:30 in the morning Mountain Time. And as usual, I am your host of How I Met Your Mortgage, Adam Smith. And with us, pretty much as always, is one of our other coaches and our marketing director, Jen Waybauer, who has made no hiding of the fact that she's going to give me flack about saying good morning to all of you when you're not watching or listening in the morning. And we've got a really cool guest for you guys today, a repeat guest, oddly enough. And, well, I guess it's not that odd anymore when we find really cool people. We have them on the show more than one time for sure. But I think what's unique about this, and actually, let me introduce our guest first, Craig Blumengold. Good morning, Craig.
Morning.
And Craig, the last time you were on the show, we had a fairly different format. We were actually, I don't want to say pitting, but we were kind of pitting two guests against each other in each episode and trying to get opposing or at least diverse opinions on specific lead gen activities, marketing activities, prospecting activities, for those kinds of things. And I think it's been so long since you've been on the show that was the case then, that you actually were on with myself and what was probably Kelly at the time, Jen's predecessor, and another real estate agent, mortgage originator, somebody else who has a direct to consumer sales type gig for large ticket items like houses or mortgages. And I can't even remember who you were on the show with.
Me either.
Okay, we'll have to go back and look at some historic footage to see what we come up with there. But
Agent. That's the only thing that I have in my head is a Colorado Springs agent.
That wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, it's been so long. I would be willing to bet that a whole lot has changed in your life, your business, your activity. We can certainly start with the fact that, thank God, it's hockey season.
Thank God.
Are you still playing?
I am. I played last 10:30, bright and early, 10:30 Sunday night game.
Okay, and are you still reffing?
I am.
Okay.
I'm reffing. I actually am reffing my first USPHL game next Friday night.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm all over the place and I'm coaching. So.
Okay, holy cow. So do you have time or do you still practice real estate?
I do.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Let's talk about that some. If it's been a few years since you've been on the show, I'll bet some things have changed. Tell us what you're up to right now. What does your business look like from a real estate perspective?
So I'm having a good year again. Second year in a row. I mean, I'm 5 years in. I haven't had a bad year yet. Just cranking away. Got a couple clients under contract. I have 2 on new builds in addition to that for next year. And I'm just filling the pipeline. And I got a bunch. So oddly enough, I went away last week, and in real estate, I was on the airplane, and of course, when you land, I got 38 text messages, and I had 3 clients that all of a sudden needed to see houses in Colorado.
Of course they did.
Of course they did, because they didn't for the other 2 weeks leading up to that. There was nothing they wanted to see. So life is busy. Real estate's busy.
Yeah, we don't cover that in our coaching program when it comes to lead gen and volume and that kind of thing. But we probably should cover that. If you want to increase your business, just schedule a vacation. It's like a guarantee.
Yeah, you can make $1 million a year on a coaching program. Go home vacation.
That's good stuff.
Book a trip on an airplane. You're good to go.
So in that time frame, no major changes. You're still at the same company.
Well, I left Berkshire Hathaway the last time we talked, and I'm back at Berkshire Hathaway. I came back last February.
So at least 2 company changes. You changed to one and then changed back.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a lot of added work. Okay, so you've had a full plate, and that was just this past February that you came back.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've had a busy few years since we last had you on the show. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's positive things. I'm the type of mindset that, growth is good and change is good sometimes, and you need that. So,
yeah, I think that there's an awful lot of truth to that, and it's good to be busy.
yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
love
no
it.
complaints there. So, give us some background just for those of us that either can't remember the last time you were on the show or those who weren't subscribers listening to the podcast, watching the show back then. How'd you get your start in this game?
I was in corporate outside sales and I got laid off and had a daughter. And so you have to provide for your family. And so when I went home, my wife and I were talking about what I could do. And I said, I've always wanted to get into the real estate game, but I had a career. So there was no reason to switch at that point in time. And she just gave me her blessing and said, go do it. If that's what you want to do, just make sure you're good at it and take it all the way.
How long ago was that?
So it'll be 6 years in March of next year.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you were relatively new to the business when we first had you on the show.
Yeah, I was not even 2 years in.
And I don't think your hair was so gray.
It was not.
Good stuff. I think that's true of all of us, unfortunately. We might even be giving Jen gray hair after the years she's worked with us.
That's why I dye it.
See, and I was going to try to blame it on the sun in the office here, but
no, yeah, no hiding that. Tell us, what does your business structure look like? Are you going as a one-man show? Do you have some help? Do you have other agents? Do you have a TC? What does that look like for you?
So it's I am Blumengold home team, but then I have my TC Ashley, who is super awesome at contracts and getting people to closing tables, so I don't have to concentrate so heavily on that.
You shouldn't have to. Your job is to go find more buyers and sellers.
That 100%. But early on in my career, that wasn't the case. But when my wife and me talked about it, she was the one who was anti me getting a TC. Said save the money and learn how to do it yourself. And I think it's valuable to actually take that time and do it over and over and over again for a year and a half, 2 years.
Oh, well, sure. And then you know exactly how you want your TC to operate.
Right, 100%.
Yeah,
So
no question. And it makes it very difficult to inform, educate, train support staff if you don't know how it's handled or how you want it handled. So yeah, that certainly makes a whole lot of sense. All right, so over the last few years, and obviously since we've had you on the show, we've all dealt with this COVID thing. Maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah. Weird thing.
And for those of you listening, maybe you've heard of it. And the bottom line is that obviously that kind of changed a lot of things in almost every facet of business on the globe. Did it have an impact on how you were doing some of these important things when it comes to finding buyers and sellers in your lead gen, in your marketing activities, in social media, in video, so on and so forth? How do you think your business has shaped the last couple of years as a result?
So oddly enough, it was weird, and I don't know that it's everybody, but for me, it was like when COVID hit, the world got locked down. I actually got busier than I was, and I don't know if people just sat home and were like, "I hate my house and I want to move. Let's call Craig." I keep seeing what he's doing, or like no one's ever given me a direct answer. I don't know, but I had a great year. I mean, it was the more I sat home, the busier I got, and it was almost like, okay, cool. How the government went through everything and was like, okay, we're essential workers, go out and do everything. But you had to change how you did it, right? There was times you go to a house and you'd have to wait in line to get into the house because of all the rules and regulations that were put in place about no overlapping showings. So, like I'm leaving to go show houses in Colorado Springs and I have 5 back to back. That could be a 2.5 hour thing. That would be a 12-hour thing back then. You had to go sit at a house and just wait.
Wow. Yeah, that was very different. Although I do agree with you. I think some of the motivation was if we were going to be required to stay home, we wanted home to be badass. There's no question about it. Liz and I got fairly lucky that we had moved into a home that we felt was badass quite a bit before the pandemic, but enough to the point where I think another piece of the puzzle that really hit home in that era was a lot of home improvement, a lot of remodeling, that kind of thing. And we certainly did plenty of that around our house. And yeah, I guess if we're going to be locked down, there's no place like home. So what changed in the sense of where, well, and not just over the course of the pandemic, but certainly since the last time we've had you on the show, so what could be 4 years here, what has changed in where your business comes from? Where do buyers and sellers find you? What kind of lead gen activities are you doing?
So very heavy in the hockey community, which you know.
Of course.
At the beginning of the show. I get a lot of it from that, but I don't spend a lot of money on marketing into it. It's more lead gen activity of staying current with my sphere and the people in it and making sure that I'm posting content that's relevant to them. And I feel like that and staying in flow with everybody I talk to and staying on top of their lives, checking in on people is a big thing that I don't know that people do. And it's a quick text message, phone call. How's everything going?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Not enough to, but yep, that's true.
I mean that's big for me because I'd rather do business with people who I like, who like me, who we have a lot of common ground. As far as finding new business, I don't do open houses anymore, but that early on was a big thing for me. Now it's switched to basically business brings business is my motto right now. And so the busier I am, the more business I get.
Sure.
And putting out proof of production so people know what I'm doing.
It snowballs, no question.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this in lieu of doing open houses, and not that I'm seeing as many of them, and obviously houses don't really need to be held open in order to sell. That's part of the supply and demand issue, the inventory shortage that we're dealing with. But when you have properties for sale, are other people doing open houses for you?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
They're going on the market so fast. I mean, the last one I had actually sat longer than any one I've had yet, but
How long was that?
It was 9 days.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah.
So barely enough time to schedule an open house, let alone actually execute it.
Right. And 9 days is kind of fun and numerous, right? I mean, it's like, okay, that was really long. 9 days.
9 days.
9 days. And it was and it literally was this. They had bought it and they painted the siding. When they painted the siding, they bought the correct paint that was heat resistant. And then summer happened. And apparently that can of paint that they used was not heat resistant. So there was warping all around the siding, which then led everybody who viewed the house to believe there was something wrong with it. So we just put a $5,000 seller concession, put it out there of this is what it was. And all of a sudden we had 17 showings lined up the following Friday, and then they were under contract.
No, that's
crazy.
way that it works. Poor Jen, who is in the market to buy a home. Yeah, she's watching what goes on the side from the sidelines here, and it's a little kooky, no question. I think it's important for everybody out there, particularly the consumer, to understand that a balanced real estate market, I don't care where it is, Mobile, Alabama, Anchorage, Alaska, is defined by a 6-month inventory. So 9 days being a long time to sit right now is, I'm not even sure we can really, describe how kooky that is. It's, well, I guess it's synonymous with the 5% or 6% of what would be considered a healthy inventory, which is what we've got right now. So, yeah, that, of course, always leads to the conversation about whether or not we've got a housing bubble. And we can certainly touch on it briefly, just because I do think it's relevant. And my general reaction is no. This is a legit supply and demand issue, and obviously the facts point directly to that. And I do think we're starting to see it slow a little bit. Like 9 days would probably be pretty quick today. I think 2 weeks is probably, something that would be more reasonable for a house to be on the market. Obviously not 6 months, which is what we would consider in a balanced market. But I also think one of the really interesting pieces of the puzzle, knowing what we know about the stats from the National Association of Realtors, from the State Association of Realtors, where we are, is the general longevity of the real estate agent. We know 80% are gone in 2 years, 85% in 5 years. The tiny fraction of real estate agents that have ever seen a buyer's market. Is just such a bizarre number. I mean, you have to have been practicing real estate for what's probably getting close to, well, 15 years now, I guess. Yeah, give or take would have been the last time we saw a buyer's market, and the number of agents that are in for that long or longer is small, really small. Yeah. So we've got a really badass population of real estate agents that know how to sell homes quickly, that know how to negotiate for buyers in order to get offers accepted, and haven't seen the opposite side of the table yet. So I don't know when or if that's ever going to happen. Could be decades from now, but it'll be really cool to see who's still in the game in that long a period of time and has been able to remain so dynamic that they're able to handle what a buyer's market would look like. It'll be cool.
You should track that. I'd love to hear that. And like when we hit that point for you to go back and read your results.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating. No question. Yeah, we'll have to see what that looks like at the time. So I think it's important that everybody understand, and we kind of glossed over how important your lead gen activity is when we're talking about running with your tribe. In your case, hockey is a great example. And we usually make fun of, something like, look, if you're a vegan and you're not putting out to the vegan community, the grocery stores, the restaurants, whatever, that you're also in real estate, then you're probably struggling. You're not marketing to the National Cattlemen's Association if you're a vegan. Right. So we talk about how important it is really to run with your tribe, but I think what's really important here, and you mentioned it, although I really want our audience to pick up on it, is that this also provides an audience where we already have something in common with. Odds are really good that it's going to be people we like, that we know, and of course that the people know, like, and trust, old saying, know, like, and trust us. And that's really a big deal. So whether that's for me, I'm a big 4x4 guy. I own a few Jeeps, try to hit the trails as often as I can, that sort of thing. For Craig, it's hockey, and this is obviously a big deal. You are coaching kids whose parents either own homes, want to, or know people who do. Yep. You're playing hockey with guys who either own homes, want to, or know people that do. Yep. You're reffing hockey games where the other refs and the players own homes, want to, or know people that do. So pretty much everybody you're coming into contact with is a potential client, lead, or advocate. They either own real estate, they want to own real estate, or they know someone who they could refer to you that wants to or does. Yeah. So I think it's important for our audience to understand that as long as you're not a hermit, and who in sales could be, that's a very difficult combination. As long as you're not a hermit and you're actually doing the things where you're running with your tribe, whether it's playing hockey, going four-wheeling, whatever it happens to be, that there is this plethora of potential clients, leads, and advocates in those audiences. Craig has figured out how to make sure that they know what he does, other than play, coach, and ref hockey. And obviously, it's a struggle for some people. There are a lot of people out there who don't understand that just being you, doing the things that you normally do with the subtext always existing that you're in real estate is going to generate buyers and sellers.
Well, there's more to it to me, right? And maybe it's just my mindset, but we also skate with the blind hockey players, the Visionaries Blind Hockey Program. I'm part of Dog Nation Hockey Foundation, which is a nonprofit that was started 12 years ago that gives back to hockey players in need, right? So I'm doing all these other extracurricular activities, not for real estate, not for my business, for me to give back, because it's cool to tell your kid to play hockey, but it's even better to tell them play hockey. And when you're really lucky, I don't mean you have a really nice house or a really nice car. It's you wake up every day and you have arms and legs and
everything you need,
and your eyes, and everything works perfectly, and you can go play regular 100% able-bodied hockey. So cool, we're going to do that. Now we're going to also go give back to our community and help all the others. And the stories you hear along the way is huge. And none of that is like, I never ever started. And it was weird. I started because of Dog Nation. I called Marty, and the real estate team I was on was very heavy in real estate video, right? So this is actually perfect segue to this. And I was like, no, I don't want to make real estate videos. I don't want to be the guy talking about houses or what, like that's just not me. Cool. And they were like, no, you need to make videos. You need to make, and I'm like, no. And then one day I'm like, fine, I'll make a video, but I'm going to do about something I want to do. So I called Marty.
Should. Real estate's a pretty boring subject when it comes to video work.
You would think so.
But
and
if
so
your audience is interested in watching videos about hockey.
Well, and this one was perfect, right? So I called Marty, who started Dog Nation Hockey Foundation, was like, hey, I want to make a video about hockey and giving back. And he goes, hey, perfect timing you called. Tomorrow morning, I'm skating with the Avalanche at Pepsi Center with the blind hockey program with USA Blind Hockey. You should come make a video on that. Great, we'll be there. Boom. We went, we interviewed Doris Donnelly, who's part of now a higher level with the USA Disabled Hockey Program. We made a video about it. And the only thing I mentioned about real estate was that enabled me and was the tool to let me go be there on a Thursday afternoon, filming a video about the passion that I have.
So that is one. Okay, let's not pull any punches. That subtext is actually helping your business, I promise. There's no question about it. For all of you listening, watching, live in syndication, volunteer work breeds business. You've already got something, a common cause in common with these people that you're volunteering with, that you're volunteering for. That's a no-brainer. You want to see an influx in business? Go sit on a board, volunteer somewhere. There's no question about it. But I think what Craig is driving at here is some real Zig Ziglar kind of shit that if we help as many people as we can get what they want, they need, we're going to get everything we want and need. There's just no two ways about it, that good, solid volunteer work, good community work is a platform for 1,000 great business reasons. Building an audience, finding people you have something in common with, giving back to your immediate community. These are all big things that do eventually lead, in classic Zig Ziglar fashion, to more business success. It doesn't have to be your motivation, but I guarantee you it's a byproduct.
It is. It is.
No question.
Even after skating with the blind for 6 months, I ended up getting 2 people with houses. And one of them was losing his sight so fast, it was like if we didn't get him in his house, he would never actually see his house.
Oh, wow.
And
boy,
so,
go imagine you could
powerful.
actually spend time doing shit you love, helping people that really need it, and it's good for your business. Crazy. Yeah. What a concept.
Super concept. And it's cool because guess what? My daughter usually comes for the ride. So she's friends with their kids. And I can't say, I have probably a handful of the clients over the 5 years I've done business with that haven't turned into friends. Everybody else is in the other pool.
Oh, and it's so much better that way.
So much better.
The byproduct of that, particularly when we're operating in a strict repeat and referral environment, where that's how we get our business, is that we already know people are the direct result of the people they spend the most time with. So if you really like somebody, you liked working with them, they became a good friend, odds are good that the other people they know are, again, people you are going to like, that are going to like you, that are into the same kind of things that you are, so on and so forth. So yeah, to me, this is kind of the brunt of building a repeat and referral business. If you're doing video work and it's authentic and it's on a subject you love and the subtext is there that you're in real estate and it's generating business for you and those people become friends and those people refer more people who then become friends, on and on. We go back to this snowball concept.
Oh.
This is how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's back to that classic saying of like, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life, right? I work all the time. I don't ever really feel like I work. I work very hard at all of it. I don't sleep a lot. And that's part of the business.
Well, you can't because there's only so much ice time in Colorado.
That too.
if you want to ref and coach and play, you probably don't have time to sleep.
No, but then you pile in business on top of it. Right. And then it's I'll sleep when I'm dead. I don't want to sleep now. Right. Like I fall asleep on my computer a lot. So it's thank God I bought the warranty because there's a lot of times where you hear the beeping and then the computer fall off the bed because I'm trying to get work done. My wife says, "Can you please just put it away when you get tired?" Yeah, sure.
Sure.
And then wake up with it on the floor.
Well, and I remember as a kid, probably a teenager, my father, who is and has always been a great philanthropist, telling me at some point that when you're young, you donate your time. And all gray hair jokes aside, when you're old, then you've become so established you can donate your money. And it's kind of a sliding scale in between. But yeah, Craig, being as young and virile and healthy and active as you are, you've got the ability to cut sleep out of the equation, some, and spend that time doing things like coaching and reffing and volunteering and, doing shit that's for the greater good of the community.
And business at the same time. And it's mostly for the same people.
Well, and they run parallel paths.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's what I think, at least for new real estate agents, I think that's the picture that was missing, right? Because it's such a cut and dry thing. You go to real estate school and then you're supposed to get out and figure it out. There could almost be a real estate school about how to actually build your business to be happy and successful coming out of real estate school, as opposed to getting out and going like, great, now what do I do? We'll find it. Like, and my wife's my biggest proponent. I remember I was 2-3 months and I'd come home every week after a team meeting and our office meeting. And I'd be like, oh, this is the coolest thing. She's like, you're not spending money on any of that crap. Like, you know people. I'll tell you what, come home and talk to me about spending money when you find me a deal. Like, you go get yourself a deal, figure it out. And then we can maybe have a conversation about money. Like, cool. And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, it was like, boom, got a client who then got another client. And you know how the snowball goes.
Well, and you really struck a chord with Jen and I there because how do I put this? The real estate school model, the new agents coming out of real estate school, what they know about contracts and negotiations and inspections and so on and so forth, you've got to have that knowledge base. But yeah, you're basically kicked out onto the street with no real working knowledge of the sales side of it, unless you came from a sales background like you did, and a lot of people do. There's no question. A lot of people that are in mortgages, real estate, financial planning, insurance, on, came from another type of sales background. But for the ones who didn't, the ones who don't understand how the big piece of the pie, the big piece of the puzzle is to generate leads, to find buyers and sellers, really have a big struggle when they first get licensed. And the real estate schools certainly aren't going to be able to teach that. They aren't going to reveal the fact that that's really the brunt of the work, even though we haven't taught you any of it, because it derails their model. And I get it. I'm a capitalist as well. I'm not going to, insult the real estate school industry, the real estate education industry, because that's how they makes their money. But that's really a big part of why Just the Tips was formed. We felt that there was this huge gap for new agents, new originators, that they have this great knowledge base. You're a freaking library of how to, read guidelines and deal with negotiations, in those industries respectively. But you don't know how to find buyers, sellers, borrowers, whatever the case may be. And we wanted to bridge that gap. So yeah, you're really pulling at our heartstrings, I assure you.
Yeah, no, you guys are doing a good job with it, right? I'm sure you've had.
So.
Yeah, not to your own horn. I'm just saying.
Well, we're kind of a scared straight program. After a couple of decades of learning and failing and learning and succeeding and failing again and learning more, we are able to pass that knowledge on. But I'm not gonna deny it. I think our coaching clients have more success with our content than we do.
Right. There you
go. We have built some really successful agents, loan originators, lead generators, as it were. So yeah, we're very proud of the work that we've done. But yeah, I still like to joke that we're a scared straight program. Yeah, learn from my mistakes, please. I already made them. There's no reason for you to go make them.
There's a whole book on it.
That's true. There is a whole book on it. That's right. Very cool. Well, Craig, this has been fantastic. We haven't done the show in a couple of weeks, I think, Jen.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
And I've certainly had a very interesting week. I think most of our audience knows about that. So yeah, I've not been as enthused in recent days and days about work and whatnot as I am now. So thank you for that. This has been a great episode.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And let's get Craig back on the show, Jen. See if we can do it where it's not hockey season. Maybe we'll buy him a little bit of time.
There you go.
All right.
Craig, we do know it's hard to take a half hour out on a Monday morning to entertain us, but you've done a really good job.
Thank you. Well,
I'm sure our audience.
I'll come back on whenever you want.
All right.
Cool.
Jen, what am I missing? You don't need to plug the Mile High Mastermind.
Well, I
Or
do want to take a
social
second.
media day.
I do want to take a second to thank everybody who was part of Mile High Mastermind and Social Media Day. We survived. Both events for 2021 are in the books. But I also want to note, if anyone's interested in speaking at either of those events next year, I'd love to hear from you. So feel free to reach out. You can get my contact information along with everything you could possibly want to know about Just the Tips by texting TIPS to 63566. That'll get you our links to our podcast on Apple and Spotify, our recent videos. You can book a free hour of coaching with Adam and myself. If you want to be a guest on the show, you can do that way. But basically anything you could possibly want to know about us, just text TIPS to 63566.
It does put in there that I'm a Libra and I like long walks on the beach.
I mean, it can.
Okay.
I've got to take the social media day out of it, so I'll just replace that. But a big thank you to everybody who supported the events and to Mindy, who I could not have done these events without. So thank you, Mindy. I know you're watching.
She probably is, and yes, she was absolutely invaluable through both of those events. So yeah, and I am glad that they're in the books. It'll make the last couple of months of the year here seem normal. I don't want to say normal. That would be crazy to seem normal.
Yeah, no.
But yeah. All right. So we'll go past that. And Craig, thank you again so much for joining us again. I appreciate you participating in our what would be a new format for you, but yeah, certainly invaluable shit for our clients.
Awesome.
Everybody knows this stuff. Everybody who's successful knows this stuff. It just really helps for our audience to hear it from another voice.
Well, and it literally, looking back at 5 years, it takes time. I think people put too much pressure on them, right? Like, for one, you should have a reserve of money. So when you don't sell something, you can figure out how to eat or not go get another job. And then you build over time. And in a year or two, you know, it's like anything else. What is it? You open your own business and within 3 years, you need to be positive cash flow or you're not going to survive, right? I don't think real estate's all that much different. I think we just have an expectation of, we're going to go get our license and we're going to go sell 8, 10, 15 million.
Oh yeah, it'll be easy. We'll make a lot of money and our schedules will be flexible.
That guy does it, right?
Right. Yes, absolutely. And yeah, I do think it's important for everybody in our typical audience for Just the Tips to know that you are a business owner. I mean, you know, you don't own Berkshire. We all know who owns Berkshire. But I think it's important for everybody to behave as a business owner that way when it comes to the business side of things, without equivocation. But what I really think we need to drive home here is, guys, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not a job. It's a career. So take it as seriously as a career, as a marathon career should be. Put in the work. I promise it will pay dividends. All right.
Yep.
Well, thanks, Craig. And Jen, thank you. I'm going to run our extra. Craig, don't go anywhere. And we will see you guys again. If you want to catch us live, again, it's 10:30 in the morning on Mondays in the Mountain Time Zone. And otherwise, yeah, use that text code and you can figure out where the videos lie and where the podcasts are as well. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Okay.
Next week.
All right. Bye, all.